Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to MGTV. I am your host, Michelle G., your dating and relationship guru, where I help all the singles navigate through dating life and the dating scene and helping relationships and couples to strengthen their bond, elevate their relationships on a daily basis. So today we are here to talk about how to make love last. It's the question that is always asked with the answers are just endless answers on how to make your relationship last. So what I want, I see you guys can see my cat back there. What I want to tell you today is that it's no secret that everyone gets to a point in a relationship where they feel like they're in a rut. It kind of happens. I mean, we start by keeping things fun and fresh, and then either you move in together, there's a transition, or you decide to get married to take the next step in your relationship. So what do? You end up establishing routines, and routines are healthy. They're great for keeping us on track for different things. Routines are really good for keeping us on a schedule, for helping us to develop great habit patterns, and routines are also healthy for a relationship to an extent, though. They're not, what ends up happening is that they also create a sense of comfort, where you start feeling way too comfortable in the relationship, and then it kind of just it's a routine to go to date night. It's a routine to go to parents for 4th of July. It's a routine. So what ends up happening is that with that comfort, what comes is that then there is really no pizzazz. There's no like, voila, like that same butterflies and all those feelings that you felt when you initially first started dating. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about how to be able to identify if you're heading towards relationship rutsville, if you're already there. So you can be heading there, or you can already be there. And I want to give you I want to give you 4 points to be able to identify, because it's really important that we identify where your relationship currently is. Is it heading towards rutville, or is it already there? So first off, to start, let's go with number 1, wandering eyes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we know we all have wandering eyes. We look, we are just programmed to look at beautiful things. We're attracted to beauty. But there is a difference, okay, when it comes to having a wandering eye versus a wandering eye where you're starting to get turned on by someone else. That is a problem. Now, I'm not saying that you can't look and admire the beauty of different, what the human body can look like, but what I am saying is that it becomes a problem when that turns into being now turned on by someone else, because now you're more susceptible to possibly going to flirt with that person, a bartender, maybe smile a little bit more, and they're kind of reciprocating with body language, and it kind of just gets you, ooh, I still got it, okay? That's when that becomes a problem. So if you're starting to have a wandering eye, past the wandering eye, your relationship, it means relationship at home is not doing very well. Number 2, life events. Life events can also cause for a relationship to become stale, become stagnant. Number 1, for example, you can talk about life transitions such as childbirth. You're adding a new member to your family. Your whole life and your whole schedule has to get rearranged. Finances, when you move in together, that's a transition. And then transitioning into figuring out finances, figuring out who's going to do the shopping, who's going to take care of this. So any major life transition can cause a little bit of ruckus in your relationship. And if you ride that wave long enough, it can actually make the relationship stale or start for it to head towards rutsville. Transitions is something that it really takes time and planning, and I'm going to get to the action steps on that in just a moment. Number 3. Now, irritation. When you're constantly irritated at your partner, remember all those little cute things that they used to do? How they used to, just laugh really loud or snort I don't know, occasionally, and you're like, oh, it was so cute, and you had like butterflies and just batting your eyes. Well, here's the thing, okay? Once everything starts becoming irritated to you, it probably means that things are not going well in the relationship, because now everything is just bothering you. You're constantly having arguments. The only exception to the rule, and this is for my ladies, is if you're going through menopause. Menopause is different. You're going through a lot of hormonal changes. You're feeling a lot of hot flashes. There's a lot of symptoms. There's a lot of things that just cause you to be even more irritable. Now, I'm not saying it's a full excuse, ladies, but I am saying that that's something to take into consideration. That would fall under a transition. It's important to identify, are you irritated because you're having hormonal imbalance in your body, or are you irritated just because you're irritated because your partner, you're just sick of them, okay? Number 4, sex. What sex? Exactly my point. If your relationship is heading towards Rutsville, or you're already there, more than likely you're probably only having sex once a week, possibly once every 2 weeks. Or maybe, as I have had some experience with some clients, you're possibly having sex maybe only about once every 3 to 4 weeks. That's a problem. That is a huge red flag, okay, that there's something going on in the relationship and nobody is addressing it. If you really want to make love last, okay, you have to be aware. You have to take the time to really kind of identify, do I fall in any of these categories? Is my relationship okay? I mean, we have to do checks from time to time. So here are my action steps. I'm going to give you 2 big action steps, but I'm going to break them down, okay? So action step number 1, in order to be able to turn your relationship around immediately, you have to have an action plan. What is an action plan? What does it consist of? All right, so let me tell you. An action plan consists of 3 components. Component A, I'm not going to just say date night. I'm going to say mini dates. What are mini dates, Michelle? Coffee visits. Do a coffee visit with your partner. Read a book together. A mini date where, how about, do you remember when you used to have nooners and you used to go, you used to leave work because you weren't feeling well, but you really went to your boyfriend's or your girlfriend's house? That's what I'm talking about. Have a lunch date. You know, take a break from your day, from everything that you're so used to, and break up the routine and see your husband, your lover, your partner during that time. It's a great way to share a meal, be able to talk and catch up and see what's going on, and then go back to your world. And then you guys get to reintegrate again at night. It just opens a lot of doors of opportunities for a lot of different conversations instead of the usual conversation of, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was great. What's for dinner? Okay, great. Hey, do you want to go to the barbecue Saturday? And then conversation stops. Mini dates really allow for you to have more conversations, which allows you to get to know one another again. Plus, it feels like you're dating again. And even if you're married, even if you're in a relationship, you constantly have to be dating. You're also dating your husband or wife. All right, what else does this action plan consist of? So B, huge rule. No technology in the bedroom, period. Laptops, phones, iPads, Blackberries, whatever, tablets, okay? Technology is a big no-no in the bedroom. So include television. My husband and I, we are huge fans of not having any TV in our bedroom. The bedroom is made for one thing and one thing only, and I don't think I need to say it. I think you guys get it. Secondly, it's also great to be able to talk in the bedroom, you know, to read a book together. There's so many things. Technology is a great way to distract you, to get on Facebook or to get on Pinterest or to get on so many of the social medias out there, but you're already on those probably 3/4 of the day. You're spending time on social media. So why not take a break from it and why not be completely present for your partner? So no technology in the bedroom, okay? And the last part of the action plan is what I like to call a little fantasy jar. So what's a fantasy jar? A fantasy jar is just you can make it into a fishbowl, whatever, okay? But it's basically where you both can put your desires. You guys can both put what it is you would like to see in the bedroom without writing your name on it. So that way it's a way to really kind of spice things up and get sex back on the schedule, to get sex back on the agenda, get you both intimate and bonding again. But being able to do it in a way where it's going to be really, you can kind of say what you want to do, but you don't have to put your name on it. It's kind of like you draw an idea out of the box, and then, hey, you role play it, you do it, hey, the sky is the limit. So I definitely recommend, as a part of your action plan, to have a fantasy jar. It will spice up your sex life, speaking from experience. All right, and the second thing that I would say, the second action that I would highly recommend is to seek out a relationship coach. Seek out someone who has experience in relationships, someone like me, who can walk you through and help you create great conversations around transitions, help you with communications, being able to help you get your relationship out of the rut and give you tools and techniques that are specialized for you. Because at the end of the day, we all have similar problems, but they're each and individual problems are yours only. They're just for you, you know. You probably, something I may give to one of my clients may not work for another client. So I'm very aware of that, and most coaches are aware of that as well. That's why we don't have a cookie model approach. So what I would say is seek out a relationship coach, seek out an expert to help you to be able to navigate, these murky waters in your relationship. All right, so now that I've told you how to be able to identify where your relationship is at, or whether or not you're heading towards Rutsville or you're already there, I gave you some quick action steps that you can take immediately to go ahead and turn your relationship around. Now I want to give you some tools and secrets to help you make the love last, all right? Relationships, love is a verb, you hear it. Relationships are constant work, not work. It all depends how you look at it. But it takes an active participant to be able to make it work. It takes 2 active participants for it to last, okay? And notice I said it takes 1 to make it work and 2 to make it last. Why? Because the one person who's going to carry the weight is going to get tired of carrying that weight. So it's important that there's 2 active participants for it to really last a lifetime. All right, so I want to share some of my favorite little things that my husband and I do to keep our love vibrant, to keep it fresh. So my husband has this tool number 1, okay? Just want to give you 1, 2, 3, 4. Tool number 1, my husband has this really cool gesture that he does. It's a habit for him. He has what he calls his gratitude journal. And this gratitude journal is really something that he writes in every day, why he's grateful for me, to remind him, to keep it at the forefront of his mind, why he loves me, what it is that he appreciates about me, and how it is that he just sees me grow and change as a wife, as a person. He writes it. And no matter whether or not we've had horrible arguments, we could have disagreed on different things, or had a tiff and a taff, whatever the case may be, no matter how big or small, this man does not go to bed without writing in his gratitude journal. And then what he does is really sweet. At the end of the year, or Thanksgiving, I don't know, every time he changes it up. So I'm just going to throw out certain holidays. He'll pick a holiday, and what he'll do is that he'll give it to me. He'll wrap it up in a really pretty box, or he'll wrap it up in a bow. And to be honest with you, I don't remember it all the time, so I'm kind of always surprised. And then I read it, and it's literally, it takes my breath away, because he really just remembers some little things that I forgot, that I thought were meaningless, and it just reminds me how much he loves me and how much I love him and I value him. And sometimes he even makes little notes and says, today we had an argument about X, Y, and Z, but I still want you to know that I love you, even though I may not agree. And it's funny. I laugh, I just kind of like, oh, I forgot about that argument. So that's one of the first things that I want to say, a gratitude journal. Now, for myself, It's not something I practice every day. I actually show my love for him in a different way, and we all have different ways of showing love, but this is just a great way that my husband does for me, and I find it that every time I go through it and I cry, I feel like it connects us together even more. What I like to do is a little different. I like to be able to buy him little gifts here and there, put little notes, things that I know will just make him smile. My husband's a big fan of cards, and he loves letters. So I make it a point to at least try to give him a card maybe once a week, or write him a letter or something, because I know that it's going to surprise him. And I know that it's just going to mean the world to him, and it puts a smile on his face. Number 2, second thing that I want to bring up is, do you know ever seen those little coffee table books that you just kind of put it on a coffee table and you pick them up and read? Well, there's some really cool books, and these are really great gifts to be able to say everything that you want to say to your partner, without having to really write it, but it's so visual, and it just, like, this is so great. Like, it gives you a visual, and it just really invokes an emotion. But these make great gifts to have. And the other thing is, it's not just to give a gift and say, oh, thank you, but to actually read it through and put it somewhere where it's going to remind you about what it is that your husband did for you or your wife did for you. It's a great gesture. And then to read it over and over. So, again, we're big coffee book fans, One also that reminds me, or reminds him, of how much of a great friend he's been to me and why I love him so much. Number 3, in order to keep a love vibrant, fresh, you really cannot do away with touching. Touching one another, man, is such a powerful, and I know I've said it here on MGTV, touching is such a powerful way to be able to transmit emotions and feelings and love. Because did you know that non-verbally, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to look at one another, but just touching one another, you're actually transmitting messages of how you're feeling, So it has such a powerful way of being able to move a person. And it's also how we're able to bond with one another. It's just, I am a huge toucher, So I always say that feelings can be transmitted through touching. So why not touch each other more? Instead of just saying it, sometimes just holding hands, kissing a little bit more is a great way to keep the love fresh and vibrant. Which leads me into my last and final point. I just mentioned it. Kissing. All right, come on. Do you remember when you were dating your husband, your girlfriend, your wife? Do you remember in the beginning how you guys would have makeout sessions, and you guys would make it a point to just have these hot, heavy sessions, okay? And I don't care if you've been married for 25 years, you've been married for 10, or you've been married for 1, or you've been dating for 3. Here's the deal, okay? At some point, I don't know why it is that we find that it's okay to just give pecks on the cheeks and pecks on the lips. It's like you don't have time, or you don't make time to kiss. Well, let me tell you, kissing is such a great way to keep your relationship fresh and vibrant. You see it so much in the beginning of relationships, and then you see it also in elderly couples. I don't know about you, but I've seen elderly couples that I've seen them kissing several times, and I think it's so sweet, it's so good, because they know that it's a secret to keeping love fresh, vibrant, and alive, What happened to those makeout sessions, all right? The courting days, okay? It's just make time to kiss for one another, okay? Make it a point to kiss. And look, I know this is going to sound really funny, but maybe to reintroduce it, because if you haven't done it in such a long time, your partner may be like, that's odd, what are you doing, okay? Well, start off slow, maybe just a couple of kisses here and there. Maybe you only do it for a couple of seconds, and then seconds turn into a little bit longer, and you kind of just take baby steps towards it. But these are the 4 tools and techniques and secrets that I will tell you that keep a relationship going. Keep a relationship vibrant, alive, and fresh. Remember, like, when it comes to life, either you bring something new into it or something new comes into it. And that's what was said by one of the mentors that I know. And I believe that is so true. So most of the times we have to bring something new into our relationship, new into our life. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of MGTV. I want to tell you, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, we are running our survey contest with some amazing prizes. As a matter of fact, we got some Beats by Dre headphones on there as one of the prizes. We want to hear your feedback. We always want to improve, be able to provide you topics, services that are tailored and that are meaningful to you. So we want you to go ahead and go to michelleg.com/survey-contest. Give us your feedback. Give us your opinion. Tell us what you think is working, what you think is not. I value it. And because of that, as a thank you, your name's going to be entered into winning a survey, into winning one of our 4 prizes, which is listed on there on the site, so I'm not going to go into it. Hey, and also, sharing is caring. So even if you have someone that you think could benefit from watching MGTV or could just benefit from relationship or dating advice, I recommend that you bring them over to the survey, have them fill it out. Hey, you're also doing them a favor. They could possibly be one of the lucky winners. Don't forget, the contest ends on June 15th, which is Father's Day at 11:59, and our drawing will be next Tuesday, here live after the Google Hangout. Which brings me to next week's topic is going to be, we're going to be having a special guest, Nicole Bell. And I have so much to tell you. She's a dear friend. She's an amazing nutritional and health expert. But she's going to talk about, is dieting ruining your relationship? So you definitely, if you're a dieter or you're constantly trying out different diets, how is that affecting your relationship? Interestingly enough, you're going to be surprised as to learn how it actually does affect your relationship, your bonds, your communication. There's all these great tools and tips and techniques that she's going to share, so don't miss out on next week's episode. And as I always say, remember, every day is a new day to reignite your relationship, but it always starts with you. I'll see you next week, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.